Hello everyone, and today we're doing What If Deku Was Dialga, Part 2. And, we continue this off right after, Deku, he was watching over his planets in his section of the universe, and Arceus is just chilling, Palkia's doing their stuff, Giratina still sitting in the Distortion World pothole, and Izuku was just chilling. And one day, he has a meeting with his father, and when he arrives there, Arceus is really angry at him. He's like, "Did you have a fight with your brothers?" As Izuku's like, "Yeah? Why?" As Arceus is like, "Just what I thought." Well, close your eyes. I have a prize for you. As Izuku's like, "I mean, yeah, I did win it." As he closes his eyes, and then he falls unconscious. As Izuku, he wakes up as a little child. And the child is 4, and their name is Izuku Midoriya. And Izuku looks around like, "What happened? I was just with father." Okay. As he tries to fly, but he can't fly, he can't even teleport. Like, okay, what's happening? As Dialga's walking by, like, I can't even reverse time. As he goes to fire a blast from his hand, and it actually shoots out. And then Dialga realizes, am I in a human body? Cool. And then Deku realizes, so I'm a 4-year-old on the planet Earth. Society is rebuilding itself. And I still need to grow with my powers that I previously acquired. Okay. Then he walks over to one of the heroes like, "Sir, do you know where my house is?" As the hero's like, "Why would I, kid?" As Izuku then looks at him like, "Well, I don't know where mine is. I think you would know." As the hero's like, "Okay. Let me call the cops. They can probably get you on your way home." Why do you not know your way home? As Izuku looks at him like, that's for me to know and for you to never know. As the hero is like, okay, weirdo. As eventually Izuku gets back to Inko. And Inko's like, "Izuku, I thought you knew the way home." As Izuku's like, "I've never seen this house before. Interesting. Pretty sure this is one of the houses I destroyed during the fight." As Izuku's mumbling in front of his mother. As Inko looks to him like, "Izuku, look at me." As Izuku's like, "What is it?" As Inko's like, "Okay, I thought you had a lisp. And you were a lot scrawnier." As Izuku's like, "Right. Original Izuku is..." Where is original Izuku? As Inko looks at him like, "So, what I'm getting from you, Izuku, is you're a god who fought here about a year ago against an evil demon called Giratina, and you're possessing my son's body." As Izuku looks to Inko like, "Precisely." As Inko's like, "Well, you're definitely not my Izuku." He doesn't know how to say that word. As Izuku's like, "What word?" "Precisely." And Izuku's like, that makes a little sense. He is a 4-year-old. As Izuku gets knocked out, and he gets placed right back from where he woke up, as he gets a message right in front of his eyes, like, don't play it like that. Play it normally. Don't try and get out of this situation. As Izuku's like, whew, this is tiring. So, I have to act like Izuku. So what I got from her is I was a scrawny child, as he makes his arms scrawny with his quirk, as and then realizes I was quirkless. I was very shy, and I was a follower of a person called Katsuki Bakugo. Okay, well, I don't know who this Bakugo kid fella is. We can figure this out as we go. As Izuku starts walking around, and Bakugo is like, Izuku, come here. As Izuku's like, who are you? As Bakugo's like, you don't know my name, Deku? As Izuku's like, oh, I don't know who this Deku is, but my name's Izuku Midoriya. As Bakugo's like, you aren't Izuku. What's your name, kid? As Izuku looks at Bakugo like, my name's Izuku Midoriya. As Bakugo's like, don't you recognize me? As Izuku's like, what's your name? As Bakugo's like, my name's Katsuki Bakugo, but you call me Kachan. As Izuku's like, oh, right. I don't know how I forgot you, Kachan. I got hit on the head. Silly me. As Izuku's like, that was a close one. And Bakugo then looks over to Deku like, you're weird, Deku. Anyway, let's get back on our bug trip. Let's go and catch those ladybugs you always wanted to find. As Izuku's like, yeah. As he puts in his brain like, okay, apparently I like collecting bugs. And eventually, on their little hike, Izuku saw Bakugo fall, and he teleported right under Bakugo and caught him like, oh crap, I might have to restart again. As Bakugo's like, Izuku, you just teleported. Izuku's like, oh, I did. That could be my quirk. As Bakugo's like, yeah, it could be. As Izuku's like, that was too close. I'm so happy they're so gullible. As Bakugo looks over to him like, so, go to the quirk doctor. Go to your mom. And Bakugo then sees Izuku's eyes, and they're actually light red. And Bakugo's like, hey, Izuku. As Izuku looks over to him, and Bakugo says, why are your eyes red? And why is your hair blue? As Izuku's like, oh, it's just a change. The eye thing, though, I don't remember. As Bakugo's like, oh, that's okay. It could just be a cause of your quirk. As Izuku's like, yeah, that could work. As Izuku eventually gets to his mother, and they do the quirk doctor, and Izuku is told that he actually has a plethora of quirks. He has the power to use shadow balls. He can teleport. He can rewind time. He can do lots of things. As Izuku's like, cool. As Inko's like, oh, thank you so much, sir, as they leave the room. And Inko looks over to Izuku like, you'll be a great hero, honey, and you can make us tons of money. And Izuku's like, note to self, a little money hungry. And yeah, I'll be changing some personalities in this one a bit. Just to make it a little more interesting for our good pal Dialga Izuku. As Izuku, throughout a couple years, he'd meet Bakugo's entire friend group. And he looked, he sounded like and acted completely like Izuku would. But he kind of looked like a humanoid Dialga. And by the time it was the last year of middle school, Izuku, or Dialga, had gotten completely used to this. And he thought to himself, it's been a while. I wonder how long Father wants me to keep me in this world. I mean, it can't be that long, right? I mean, it's only been about 17 years, so it couldn't have been that long. And Izuku then realizes, like, wait a minute. My seal was 13 years long. As he realizes, wonder if Giratina will be coming back any time. After all, I did say it was an 1001. Yet, I only had enough power for a 13-year, apparently. As Izuku, on his last day of middle school, he's walking through the halls like, where is the classroom? As he walks in and the bell rings and all the students welcome Izuku like, hi Izuku. And Izuku to the entire class was quite popular because of how strong he was. And Bakugo thought him more of a rival. Sometimes he even challenged Izuku, but Izuku destroyed him. Anytime Izuku would nearly lose, he'd just rewind time. And Bakugo never knew this. So he would always end up losing the fight, and Izuku seemed to always know his attack strategy. And Bakugo was a little suspicious of this. And yeah, so the last day of middle school goes basically the entire same, except when the teacher announces that Izuku Midoriya is going to UA throughout the hero course also. No one laughs. They're just like, yeah, makes sense. Bakugo and him are probably the strongest ones here. And Bakugo, after class, approaches Izuku like, I'm the only one here going to UA high school. I'm the only one worthy. You're clearly not strong enough to beat me. As Izuku's like, you want to prove that? As he clears the entire classroom of the desks, like, well, let's do that right here, right now. As Bakugo lunges at Izuku with explosions, as Izuku kicks him in the face into the wall, like, a hands-on approach is a dumber idea, if you ask me. As Bakugo's like, don't you mock me, nerd. As he charges at him again, and Izuku just dodges the explosion. And Bakugo tries to grab his hair, but Izuku just dodges again, like, you're not that fast at this. Or good. As Bakugo's like, just take the fight seriously. As Izuku's like, why would I? This isn't a challenge. The fight's already over after all. As Izuku rewinds time into where Izuku just kicked Bakugo into the wall. And Izuku launched 3 shadow balls at Bakugo as Bakugo hits the wall. And it makes one massive spear around Bakugo. And it starts draining Bakugo's energy. And when Bakugo is about to pass out, Izuku takes the shadow ball off the massive spear off of him. And he takes in the energy, like, delicious. As Izuku then looks over to Bakugo like, you like my new attack? It's one I got from the sword. I believe it's called 10th form. Vampire. I got it from this cool swordsman. I believe he told me his father was Tanjiro. I think that was his name. Bakugo's like, this is irrelevant to the topic. I'll defeat you, Izuku. As Izuku's like, you know, I thought this would have been funner. As Izuku then looks over to Bakugo like, water breathing. First form. Whatever the first form is, I don't know. And he hits Bakugo with it, and Bakugo flies into the wall. As Izuku's like, this fight is over. You've already lost. Just accept it already, Katsuki. As Bakugo lunges at Izuku and yanks him by his collar, which surprises Izuku as Izuku's thrown into a wall. And then, when Izuku opens his eyes, he looks up to see Bakugo making a torrent of explosions above him. And Bakugo then shouts, Howitzer impact! As he launches at Izuku, and Izuku just thinks, this never needed to happen. As he just teleports to his house. Like, that was rough. As Inka's like, are you okay, Izuku? As Izuku's like, yeah, I'm fine. As he regenerates all the damage. This sword really helps, you know? As Inka's like, yeah. As Izuku then looks over to her like, by the way, Mom, do you know anything perhaps on the demon Giratina? As Inka's like, oh yeah, I read about that in the news today. There's this new cultist group trying to open, I believe it was a portal called the Distortion World. There's some group trying to open it. As Izuku is like, interesting. Very interesting. And as Izuku's walking around, he realizes, I have 10 months to train. At least that's what they want me to do. Their test shouldn't be that hard, as I have infinite knowledge. But this physical exam might be a little harder, as I did make this body originally scrawny. As Izuku then says, buff up, as he claps his hand together, and he gets basically the amount of strength he had where we are currently in the series at the end of the overhaul arc. Izuku's like, this is quite a difference. As Izuku, out of thin air, creates another sword, as he combines the one he got from the swordsman and the one he created. As he says, this'll work. As he calls it the shadow sword, and he looks over to all of the trash on the beach and looks to it like, let's try the first form I came up with. As he slashes his sword at the trash and then shouts, shadow form, first type, black hole. As all of the trash and a good amount of the sand actually makes the trash disappear. And yeah, Izuku is surprised, like, this is a strong sword. As he puts it back in his sword thing, his waist, I don't know. As he keeps walking. And 10 months later, as Izuku had fully mastered his sword, goes into the high school. And he didn't think anything of it, like, this will be an easy exam. As about an hour later, he had aced the entire exam and actually got perfect 100, which was one better than Principal Nezu when the first time he took it, who got a 99, but Izuku got all 100 points. As everyone thought, he probably has a super strong mind quirk that just boosts his IQ or something. As they didn't know, most of his quirk was just strength-based. And when he goes to the practical part of the exam, Bakugo approaches him like, "Nerd, you shouldn't be able to do this easily, you know." As Izuku draws his sword like, "But I'll make it look easy." As Izuku then looks over to Bakugo and says, "You know, just for my quirk, they gave me one entire playing field." As Bakugo's like, "You'll get demolished, though. Surely." As Izuku's like, "That's what you think." As he starts swinging a sword, which has like a particle effect around it, and it's black, like black cubes around it. As Izuku's like, "These robots will perish." As President Mike tells everyone to start, and there's a couple other kids with him who also had very strong quirks, and Izuku just basically skips around the arena, and when he gets to a corner, he looks over to his blade like, "10th form, a racing blade," as he slashes his sword at one of the robots approaching him. And there was about 30 robots trying to all jump onto him, as Izuku just cuts through them all, and all of them start disappearing. As Izuku's like, "This sword is great," as he keeps slashing out the robots, and eventually all of them are destroyed. And he closes his sword, and Izuku sees another student about to actually die to one of the groups of robots. And there were only 3-pointers and lots of 0-pointers. And Izuku sees the student, and he looks over to his sword like, "Shadow Blade, 5th form, saving grace," as he sends a hook out of his sword, and it yanks the student towards him. As Izuku's like, "Are you okay?" As the student's like, "Yeah, I'm fine, but what about that group?" As Izuku's like, "That'll be nothing." As Izuku breathes, as a black fire comes out of his mouth like, "Shadow Blade, 6th form, eradication," as he slashes once in the air vertically, and the slash just sits there, but all the robots start being pulled into it, and they're all just cut in half when they approach it. And whenever a robot touches the mysterious blade slash, it just perfectly cuts through them. Izuku's like, "Careful, don't touch that. It can break through basically anything, even my maximum defense form." As Aizawa announces the event will be ending soon. Get more points. You need at least 200 to get into our special part of UA. As Izuku's like, "I was using too much time," as he realizes he's only at 70 points. As he gets out his Shadow Blade like, 9th form, eradication blade, full power, as he jumps over to one massive pile of robots being held off by 3 students, as Izuku slices and dices them all. And he then looks over to the scoreboard like 199 points, as Izuku sees 3 0-pointers and 1 3-pointer about to destroy the kid he left. As Izuku decides the 3-pointer or the 0-pointers. As Izuku throws his sword into the robots, as he then jumps up into the air like destruction, as he makes one massive shadow ball and launches it at the robots. As Izuku teleports to the kid who he left there, as Izuku's like, I got you, as he teleports them away. As Izuku teleports back to the battlefield again, as Izuku's like, yes, they're being destroyed, as he realizes the blade, as he teleports into his blast and grabs the blade and teleports back out of it and sees it was being torn to shreds, as most of the handle was destroyed. None of the actual steel itself, though. As Izuku repairs it. And yeah. And that's when the exam ends. And Aizawa announces over the intercom, in 5 days, students, you may look at the leaderboards right now. Anyone who got over 200 points will be enrolled to our special class 1S. As Izuku looks over to the leaderboard, 4 kids and a bunch of people were at 100 something, but only a couple got over 200. And Izuku looks over to his blade like, this worked out perfectly. And yeah, that's what we'll be leaving off, guys. Yeah, I hope you guys liked this. We'll be continuing this series tomorrow, or you guys can vote in the comments for either Lucario Part 3 or Part 3 of Dialga. So, this is Call Me Rushed, signing off. Bye-bye.